2014 was another very good year for RAP, another growth year in terms of the number of factories in our program, certainly a very big growth year in terms of the training programs we ran and the people we impacted through those things. So altogether, very happy to report another good year. But it was also a challenging year for the social compliance industry as a whole. After the Rana Plaza tragedy in 2013, the level of scrutiny, the level of attention social compliance started to get at the highest levels in companies and brands and buyers was really unprecedented. A couple of things we did last year that really stood out for me was the overall contributions to the larger discourse, the larger dialogue on social compliance. In 2014, in the middle of the year, we put out a report on a stakeholder outreach project we had conducted the first half of 2014 and it began the latter part of 2013. And also towards the end of the year, Apparel Magazine had asked us to put together a special report highlighting at a high level social compliance trends and issues for executives to consider when dealing with their global supply chains. And that report was published in the December issue of Apparel Magazine. Both of those were very well received and, as I said, really contribute to the overall discourse. 2015 is going to be a very interesting year for RAP. There's a lot of special projects we're working on, plus, of course, the continued growth that we foresee both in our certification program as well as on the training side. We do expect to roll out several new training programs, for example, and we're looking at concentrating now on defining what the needs are in specific parts of the world and offering things that are more tailored to the felt needs in location. As an example, as we explore some of the new and emerging sourcing destinations, we did a lot of that in 2014, by the way. Africa continues to be a buzzing place. There's a lot of potential there, a lot of challenges, a lot of things still to be overcome, logistical, infrastructural issues, but the interest remains. But as a emerging destination, their social compliance level and therefore the needs are very different from a more established sourcing destination like a China, for example. So we'd be looking at some of those specific needs. Myanmar is another one that people are talking a lot about, and I was there last year as well. And once again, the sort of learning curve there is shaped differently, and so our ability to be useful in that location will depend on what we have to offer, and so we'll be doing specific tailored approaches for places like that as well. But the emerging markets, however interesting and however significant they will continue to be in 2015 and onwards, are still not as big, obviously, as the more established areas, and we continue to see China, for example, remain the single largest player in the market. Even if it has plateaued, it's a very high plateau, so it will continue to be obviously very important for our work, and we'll continue to focus on it. Bangladesh obviously remains at the center of the social compliance universe, as I like to put it, and we'll continue to do a lot of work there. The other big area, of course, is Southeast Asia, Vietnam in particular. We have been doing a lot. We added a local person in Vietnam in 2014, and we continue to expect more activity there, more growth there. So very exciting things to look forward to. In addition to the traditional certification and training growth and our work there, we've got some interesting projects, as I mentioned, we're working on. One is exploring better ways with which to enhance workers' voice within the RAP program. Also, one of the things that emerged quite clearly from our stakeholder report, and in general the trend that we've been seeing and we've been at the forefront of for the last several years, is the overall evolution of the approach to compliance, moving away from audit-centric pass-fail to a more long-term engagement, continuous improvement method. And we've been, as I said, advocating that for quite a while. It's been one of the reasons why our training program has become such an important part of our mission. But it's definitely becoming more mainstream now, and as a result, it's prompting a lot of programs to really take a deeper look at what the best approach is to fostering social compliance and what the best approach is to gathering information. Audits will always remain important. Obviously, it is a key way of establishing a baseline, gathering data. But what do you do with that data? That's one area we're going to explore deeply. And also, with regards to audits, with regards to sort of the standards themselves, are we at a place where we can start to really now, having established these standards, having established their importance, start to peel that onion back a little bit and say, what we really want is the end result. We want better compliance. One particular area that comes to mind as a very crucial point of discussion is the whole issue of working hours. I would really like to explore, what is behind that and how best to approach it. What is the most effective mechanism by which to be able to foster compliance, get to where those hours are complied with, and clearly in my mind this is going to involve engaging more deeply with the factories themselves, and that's something I'm looking forward to exploring in 2015.